This video is brought to you by Atlas VPN. They're running a huge discount on their 3-year deal for just $1.39 per month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Click on the link in the description to get in on that. So, I'm actually camping in Maine this week, and I don't really have access to the internet or have the time to edit, so this video is really just going to be a lot of pretty shots from the trip, if that's okay with you all. You're probably like, Karsten, what are you doing in Maine? It's so lonely up there. It's because I like privacy, and no brand knows privacy like today's sponsor, Atlas VPN. Atlas VPN is a tool that encrypts your data and hides your virtual location. When you connect to a VPN server, if you don't already know, your device is given a new IP and DNS address, which means all of the traffic is encrypted and routed towards the VPN server. When that traffic arrives at the server, the VPN server decrypts the information and allows the traffic to access the desired destination. You guys are always like, Karsten, how do you watch all these movies? Why are we so mad at you about it? Well, listen, I'll calm you down and let you know that it's by getting past these geo-blocked streaming services, which Atlas VPN helps with. By using Atlas VPN, I can connect to Canadian Netflix like that, and all of a sudden I'm watching the Lord of the Rings movie. You can do that with most of the streaming services like Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Hulu, HBO Max. Something I really like is their data breach monitor, which all you have to do is enter your email and it searches the web to see if it's been involved in any data breaches or anything else that steals your password and other important information. Turning on notifications ensures that you're aware if one of these things is happening so that you can change your password before your information gets stolen. Atlas VPN is supported on any device and offers a 30-day money-back guarantee on all streaming purchases. Something cool is that Atlas VPN is currently running a huge discount on their 3-year deal for just $1.39 per month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. The deal won't last long, so make sure to check it out by clicking the link in the description below. It not only supports the channel, but it also gets you a pretty amazing deal. Alright, so one of my earliest memories of being at a movie theater was the first time I saw Finding Nemo, which happened to be my mom's 4th time. I was easily scared as a kid, and that film is honestly surprisingly scary. It doesn't help that I also have a phobia of large bodies of water. I was doing okay until Bruce the shark showed up. I don't remember what specifically happened. Maybe I burst into tears or screamed or ran. All I know is I was in the hallway of our theater pretty fast, crouched down on the floor with my mother's arms wrapped around me. It was pathetic. I don't remember much of what that first viewing of Nemo felt like. I didn't connect to the characters in any particular way. I mean, I grew to love it, but the only thing I really remember is being in that hallway with my mom. I can say the same about a lot of movies I saw growing up. I couldn't tell you one thing that happens in Narnia, besides that there's a horse guy, but I do remember we were sitting in the 3rd row, kind of near the right. Going to the theater to see a movie wasn't even about the movies after a while. It was just a thing to do together. I didn't go to the theater alone until I was in college. When I was home for Thanksgiving in 2016, I went to see the earliest possible screening of Moonlight at my local theater. Moonlight was acclaimed in film circles, yes, but it wasn't the household name that it would become 3 months later. I don't think a lot of people in Eagan, Minnesota were rushing to see Moonlight. And I only say all of this to make sense of the fact that I was not only alone when I went to see this, but I was also the only one in the theater for the entirety of the screening. See, I always fantasized about this, only because I really don't like being around annoying people who talk too loud and ruin the movie most of the time. But I didn't realize the benefit of seeing something alone until this. See, when I saw Moonlight, I felt like the movie was just talking directly to me. It felt very intimate and honestly vulnerable watching something so personal on the screen. The way that movie affected me the first time I saw it was indescribable, and I'll truly never forget that screening. Overall, my favorite form of watching a movie is going to the theater alone. I've been doing so pretty consistently since going for it with Moonlight, and every time I say that I do this, I get the weirdest reactions. People are always like, "Oh man, don't you feel embarrassed?" or "I could never do that," or "Why would you do that?" And let me just address the weirdest concern here, which is the embarrassment. One, you're in a movie theater, a famously dark space solely dedicated to staring at a bright screen in front of you the entire time. Maybe this is just me, but when I go to the movies, I like to look at the movie, not the people coming in and out. Do I still make sure I got a pretty decent outfit on if I'm going to the movies? Of course. It's not a social setting, so there shouldn't really be an incentive for you to be there with somebody else, even though that is kind of the popular thing to do. Restaurants and concerts, while I can respect the people that go to those alone, that's a different story for me. Probably because those do focus more on the event of it all and making a social thing out of it. When I'm alone at a concert, all I can think about is how everyone at this event has someone to talk to, and I'm just sitting here on letterbox. But the movies, I really don't look at it as embarrassing. In fact, being in a dark room where everyone is forced to look at something that isn't me really is the public place where I feel the least embarrassed if I spill a big stupid drink all over my big stupid shirt. But why is it worth doing, though? Like, what is the true benefit of actually watching something by yourself in a theater if you're going to go through all of this trouble that doesn't exist? I feel like, for one, you don't have to worry about someone else ruining it. I mean, you never know who's going to be in the theater, and also no offense to any friends or family I've seen movies with that are watching this, but there is something distracting about someone leaning over and asking questions, reminding you how much they don't like the movie that you're halfway through. I'm guilty of this too. I talked during the Green Knight. I'm pretty sure I'm a bad boy. I mean, it also depends on the movie. If we're watching, like, Clifford, it's not the end of the world if you have something silly to say about the big red dog. I probably do too. But my point is, seeing something alone, you don't even have to think about that. It's really just you in the movie. I'm also someone that gets very self-conscious around the people I take to things. I remember a friend and I went to see Hereditary a few years ago, and I hadn't seen it, he hadn't seen it, we both really wanted to see it, but I spent most of that movie just worried that he wasn't gonna like it, or that he would judge me if he didn't like it, and I'd get embarrassed for dragging him to it. But literally, it was his idea to go see it. I don't know why I was thinking. I recently saw Annette alone, and that's like one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. I can't imagine watching that with someone else. Watching it alone, even though there were other people in my theater laughing at the part where Adam Driver eats someone out while singing, I actually didn't feel that uncomfortable. I'm never gonna talk to these people in my theater again. Our entire shared experience together will be watching Adam Driver perform Cunnilingus. Is that not beautiful? This will be the millionth time I've said this word on this channel, but it's just more immersive to watch movies alone. See, I think the pandemic was a reminder for how beneficial going to the movies really is. After watching things on my laptop or TV for an entire year, returning to the cinema and watching Wolfwalkers felt surprisingly spiritual. To be sharing a collective experience of watching a story unfold on the big screen, it was just stunning. I couldn't check my phone or the time or go to the bathroom and pause. You're kind of just forced to sit there with yourself and let it wash over you. This might feel like a side note, but bear with me. Something I'm noticing post-pandemic, at least as a 23-year-old, is how people treat time for themselves. See, the pandemic kind of blurred the lines of when we do and don't have alone time. For one, everyone was forced to have a lot of alone time in a global pandemic, and there was sort of a desperation to hang out with other people. And secondly, it was harder to define what work was under those circumstances. I mean, mixing up free time with time to do something is not a new thing, but I've at least felt it drifting into my own life a lot. Every moment I'm not working on videos, I'm working on a separate project or the podcast or the laundry that I need to do, but instead I'm currently writing this video. And when someone asks me to do something and I'm like, well, I'm free on Wednesday, they assume that's when I'm going to do that thing, which isn't on them, but it's just an easy way to quickly fill up a schedule and not ever have time for yourself. All of a sudden, my Wednesday is full and my brain turns into a big pile of trash and I have no free time and See, I love being a YouTuber. I feel very grateful every day that I have a job that allows me to work on my own schedule and watch movies as much as I can. But it's also a job where you don't have a boss, and it's spent entirely trying to please others, which is not a great combination. Which isn't to say I'm not grateful. The messages I get about my videos or my podcast providing people a sense of relief always truly makes my entire week. I still cannot wrap my head around the fact that anyone enjoys watching these very stupid videos. It's extremely exciting to think about that, but in the process it's also extremely easy to lose sight of my own care in the process. I'm a heavy believer in your own health, both mental and physical, taking priority in whatever you're doing. And if that requires, turning off letterbox comments because people won't stop harassing you on an app that you use purely for fun, then probably gonna turn off those letterbox comments. Because hey, things are stressful as is. I'm a human at the end of the day, and if there's any way to ease the stress in my life and take care of myself in a way that doesn't cause harm to others, I think that's worth doing. So let's loop this back. There's free time and then there's me time. And I feel like the most beneficial way, for me at least, to get me time is going to the movies alone. A space where if someone is trying to reach me, I won't be able to see it. And it's scary to think about that. I get on edge thinking about the fact that someone could be trying to get a hold of me and instead I'm watching The Beach That Makes You Old. But the amount of self-control that's gained from that makes it so worth it. I mean, I'm just now realizing my method of pulling myself away from a screen is looking at a bigger screen, but you get what I'm saying. I feel like talking about watching movies alone and the benefit of it is like trying to describe meditation. You can talk about how to do it and the small-term benefits, but those truly personal benefits are indescribable, and they should be. Those are things to hold close to you and not ruin by trying to understand them. I'm not making this video as an excuse to talk about myself and how I've learned to take care of myself more over the last few years, even though it's definitely what this video comes across as. But I wanted to make this video more as a reminder for you to do the same as we're coming out of this. Maybe not, maybe, I don't, just, take care of yourself through and do whatever that thing is that brings you comfort and a little bit of peace. For me, I'm going to be in Maine for the next 2 weeks, and that's going to be really nice. I'm really happy about it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Go watch a movie alone. And yeah,